Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? Hope you're having an incredible, incredible day, and may peace be upon you. And welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. It Takes Courage with me, your host, Dr. Izziha Jamil. And today is a very, very special, interesting, and a day full of gratitude. I have, my friend here, Jen Fontania. She is a certified money financial advisor and also certified money coach. She's a TEDx speaker and also a best-selling author. And today it is the launch of Jen's book, The Creative Coach. And so, Jen, welcome, 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 and congratulations.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here with you.
Thank you. So, I know we talk a little bit around backstage about the book, the process. We touched base that we did the book in record time. We touched base with each other in February this year, and as we were discussing, when do you want the book to come out? And you were like May. I'm like, Jen, you need to have the book yesterday to me. And at that time, it was like ground zero in the sense that nothing was yet written. And
Right.
you wrote the book in a record time, and you also had a book out, I mean, 5 years ago. So talk to us about the behind the scenes that people don't know about writing the book, publishing a book, getting things ready. So talk about the things that you have learned and your experience.
Yeah, I think there's a misconception that maybe, oh, I just go on Word or Google Docs, type something out, and then it's Control P and I just upload it. It's so not that. And what's interesting is that because I've been in this space and have written books, you get people that ask well, how's the process, and what do you do, and I tell them, like, it's just mentally prepare that it is a daunting task. I have compared it to childbirth. It is a long process with so many different things involved, but if you really have this idea that you're so passionate about in terms of sharing and what you want to talk and about and your story and the message that you want to get out so that you can help so many people, that's going to drive you to the end of this goal to get to where you want to be, which is the published piece of work. But it starts with the idea, and then you
Mhm.
develop the idea by organizing it in an outline, or at least get some idea of, like, these are some of the thoughts, and then you organize that, and then it's an interesting creative process, right? So you may find that you're going in one direction, and then you have a stop, and then you're like, wait, I want to add this. And sometimes what I will say is, it's not linear.
Mhm.
And the writing of the book is like a tiny percentage of it. Everything else involved is the majority. It's the marketing of it, it's the talking about it, it's the behind the scenes, it's the graphics, it's getting the word out, it's telling people what you're doing. Then there's the logistics, right, that the team is working on, and there's the behind the scenes. So there are so many moving parts. It isn't just just type it. That is a small part of the whole picture.
Yeah, and then that's like all these little details. And I remember, it was such a blessing and an honor to be co-creating that process with you because this is an extension of your TEDx talk. And we
Right.
worked together on your TEDx talk because, you were presented at TEDx Huntington Beach where I was the curator for it. So it kind of like so beautiful to see the expansion. And now people have a multimedia experience of your idea. Obviously, at the TEDx talk, it's only like for a short period of time, but this one, they can hold it, they can see it, they can flip it, they can smell it, they can have it, they can visually see things. And we also kind of like, worked on the storyline, the structure. Like you said, it was a creative process as you go along. But what was the moment that you knew that this was something that you wanted to share with the audience? Like, what is the driving force and the value that you're trying to convey to your audience through the book, The Creative Code?
It was after the TEDx. It was this thing in my mind and my heart where I felt, what's next? Okay, somebody's going to listen to that. Now what? And I always think about, how do you continue that customer client journey for somebody that hears that message, and what if they want help? Well, what if they identify with what I said at the TEDx, right? And so I thought, okay, well, the book felt like the most natural next step. Plus, I also wanted to have a have this thing where all these ideas, these things that I have been talking to clients over the couple years, is like, okay, well, I don't have something for that, right? Where can I have a culmination of it, so at least they get a flavor of these different philosophies, these different ideas. Where is that? And so I said, you know what, a book can serve so many different purposes. It's the next step after the TEDx. It was going to put the ideas together that I've talked about and believe in. And and let's be real, a lot of people want to write a book because it's a great marketing piece and credibility piece, especially if you're a coach, a speaker, author, consultant. Writing a book brings so much credibility. And it's interesting that I remember the last time I did it, I said, I am never doing this again. I would laugh because I'm like, why am I doing this again? And then I would go back to the why, because I need to take people on that next step. I felt like I was just kind of leaving them hanging after the TEDx. I needed that next part. So I think that was what was a driving force when I thought about how do I further help the person watching this. The book was the next answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also wanted to acknowledge you for your commitment, your passion, your persistence. It's a revealing of character, because one
Thank
of
you.
the things that you told me when we had this conversation was that, you know what, it's gonna get done. Like, it's gonna get done. I'm like, well, Jen, it needs to be done like yesterday, but
Yes,
we
it
kind
does
of
have
made
to
a
get.
plan. We made a plan. All right, Jen, for the whole of March, you're gonna be writing the book. Just whole of March. Like, I'm not talking about March last year. I'm talking about March just gone, 2024, which
Right.
was, a couple of months ago. Because we created a plan, right, Jan? You're gonna be writing in March, and in April we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, and in May we're gonna do A, B, C, and we're gonna have it out. So I really wanted to acknowledge, and yourself, your commitment, your persistence, and also a revealing of character of someone who is, um, not just honor their word, but also, not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. Because a lot of people just talk, and I'm
Mm,
like, man, it's getting hot in here. But when you when,
thank
when
you.
you put things in action and make the actions, and I've seen you kind of working through things. I've seen the progress. Like, first
Mm.
you have this part, and then it expands to this part for the manuscript, expands, and then the iterations of it. So what was the one thing valuable that you can share with your audience? Is a culmination of, multiple things that you have talked in the past, multiple things that you are passionate about, and this book is a streamlined version, an intentional version of that. So what's one thing that people can do, whether they're creatives, whether they're business owners, they're mothers, they're career professionals? What is the one thing that they can do to create wealth, happiness, joy, abundance in their life?
I think the one thing would be knowing how to manage your energy. I think if I had to sum it up, that would be it. Knowing how to manage your energy. Even before we got on this live, I was already feeling like, okay, what's going on? And then I thought, wait a minute, just I literally had to stop everything, and then I said, I'm gonna pray, and then I'm going to go into my gratitude journal. And it's so funny that I wrote this book, right? Because now it really holds me accountable, right? Because I was telling some friends, I said, because of what I wrote, I mean, not that I wasn't practicing it. That's where a lot of this was developed from, things that I do practice every day. But now that it's written and now that I talk about it, it is one of the things that I noticed lately that I'm like, okay, now everything that's happening to me, for me, or I'm experiencing it, or I'm having a moment, I think to myself, okay, what did I say in the book? All right, are you doing that right now? Right, you better do what it said in chapter 6. I hold myself accountable because I have to. I'm not gonna. I want to operate within integrity. So I think managing your energy is super important. Managing your emotions, and even just learning how to pause, just to stop and pause. I think too often we're running around too much, and then that's where it gets a little chaotic. Things go haywire. and then you can't think clearly. And so managing that energy, knowing how to clear that energy, how to put those blocks and boundaries in place so that you're protective of your energy. I think when you start to operate and flow and navigate through life that way, you'll notice that more blessings come in. There's a more ease and flow to your day. And so, and then you just feel more joy, which is, happiness. That's the whole point of the book, right? So it's definitely not your typical financial book. Does it affect your wealth and money? Absolutely. But this is not another book talking about make an emergency fund or save, which you do need to do, but that's not the focus of this book.
Totally. It's not about just about the budgeting, savings here, invest here in the country. It's more than, it's like a holistic version of what financial advisors don't talk about. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Jen, they're bounded by certain things, when they say, when they're given advice, they're bounded by certain rules and regulations, because, they're in a, they're giving advice, especially when they're certified. So this book is like the holistic version of what they do want to talk about that may or may not be able to talk about in that particular context. And full transparency, Jen and I had a couple of hiccups with the book launch today, right? It is the book launch, and we were like, okay, like Jen was saying, let's come, ground yourself, put a pause, and reflect. That's exactly what we did. We had a reflection, think about things. How are we gonna make the best of the situations and make an adjustment on the plan? The plan is already the plan, but sometimes you have to make an adjustment on the plan, and considering that whatever happens to us and for us is 100% for our own benefit and for the highest good. It's all going to work out. It's all part of the plan. Little behold, Jen was like, "Is there this other book comes out?" And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Who's this person?" Like, I don't know this person. I'm like, and apparently Jen was like, she is like, really, really famous.
It's like
She
way
has
up
like,
there. I said, if we're trying to compete with that,
yeah, and
it's not happening.
a blessing because one, we are not in competing. We are actually in harmony with these people because
Right.
they're in a different category. We're in a different category. They have the people, we have our people. We have our plan, they have our plan. So it's all going to work out because at the end of the day, every day on Amazon, there's a lot of books that come out. Like we just don't know what books
Right.
there are. And I feel that it's also a sense of gratitude. Like, oh my God, like Jen was saying, like millions of the things that you have to do for the book to get the book come out. Even though Jen wrote it in a record time, but the idea has been within you for some time, right, Jen? Like it's not just like a, oh yeah, I feel like this idea just came up 24 hours ago. Like, what was it like? Is it true? Like, I just been around for some time?
You know what's interesting? The outline had been on my mind for I think almost like a year and a half,
Mm,
and I was in the middle of thinking like, oh, okay, should I create a course? Should I, And the outline was on the wall for a long time, and then the TEDx came up, so then that became my new focus.
yes.
So then that's why it was perfect timing when the TEDx ended. Then I realized I saw the thing on the wall, and I thought, okay, let's not make just a course. Let's make the book the next thing. So that's what happened. But even with that outline already made, it changed dramatically. But at
Yeah.
least the structure was there. And even at the the last minute when I was about to turn in the edits, oh my gosh, every time I had some change, I'm like, Izzy's gonna kill me. The editor's gonna kill me. The formatter's gonna kill me. It was like I kept thinking like of new things, and I'm like, but I had to also get to a point, and same experience with the TEDx, right? You have to get to a point, and I explain this to people interested in that. You have to get to a point where you make a decision. This is good, because you can keep going and going and going and think you want to add everything in the world in it, but you have to get to a point where you're like, I'm going to execute this at this point and be okay with it, and then just go and run. Otherwise it's going to be one of those projects that are unfinished. And so I remember just thinking, okay, I'm going to add this. And then I also paid attention, again, the energy, I paid attention to, I actually feel good with this. Could I add 5 other chapters? Sure. Am I going to do that? No. We got to go. We have to run. We have to stop with where we're at. And I was good with it, but it felt complete. And
Hmm.
so, the other thing I will add is that you want to be flexible. You have to have this beautiful balance between there is some structure, but I also have to practice flexibility because things could change and things might change, and you have to mold it a different way or go to a different direction. And the same thing happened with the TEDx. I had actually gotten accepted to a previous one in October, and there was a conflict, and so I had to turn that down. But again, everything works in our favor, so this is why I also am excited that it's all good. It's all good. It's always going to happen for us in the perfect way if you believe that, and I do. Because then I ended up being able to be on your stage. You were the curator, and it was in the back, in our backyard, here in Southern California, in Orange County, and then I was able to have people there because the other one was in Pennsylvania, and trust me, nobody was going to go there with me. So it just worked out perfectly. It was right here in California. So again, when you think about moments like that are happening for you, you embrace it instead of focusing the energy on like, oh, what could go wrong? Well, what if this? You're going to set the tone for it to go in that direction. So always regroup and go like, nope, this is exactly how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, that's beautifully said,
Thank
kind
you.
of like feeling it complete and also like, yes, you could add another 5 chapters. I would be freaked out, but I'm like, what kind of thing?
I was going to be
But
like, no, we're not doing it.
I was like, what? But being flexible and being open and also like, I'm glad that you come to that. You know what? I feel complete about this. This other 5 chapters could be a mini ebook. It could be part of the course. It could be, a multitude of different things that it will has its purpose. It's just, not probably not yet at the moment. And this is a lot of the time when people write books, they feel they have to put everything that it doesn't stop or it doesn't finish. It just keeps on going and going and going. And I think that's like kind of like a trap. But what Jen did was so smart. You're like, you know what, I'm complete. The most important thing is that people know about this book. They have the book in the hand, the creative code. And you want to go to jenmoneycoach.com or scan that QR code to grab a copy of the book. Like the main thing is that people get a copy of the book, they get the idea, they get Jen, you then get to help other people, add value, solve their problem, and in return, create, know, like, love, and trust factor in terms of their journey in any way that is possible, right, Jen? Sometimes, like a book is just an easy investment to your brand. Sometimes that's all they need from you, and sometimes they need more. And sometimes they tell people about you that you don't even know that they tell people about you, but they do because of these little things. So Jen, so much gratitude and to be working with you is so, I love the collaboration. As one thing I feel that people may want to consider is that when you're working on a book project or TEDx or whatever that is, make sure that you're in alignment with the team. Make sure you're in alignment with the people that you work for. That's gonna take care of you, nourish you, have a plan, have the structure, but also got your back when things go a different direction than it should. So you want to make sure that um, especially I feel like TEDx talk or book, don't just go because it's like, oh, I just got in, but make sure everything is in alignment. As again, like what Jen calls it, is the energy of how things work and how you co-create with others with your energy and their energy. All right, Jen, let's wrap it up with one biggest action that people can take today in their journey to wealth, happiness, and joy. I know we talked about the energy, being aware of your energy, putting a pause and being in gratitude, and then like reshift your energy. What's one action that people can take to kind of like quantum leap their wealth, happiness, and joy?
I'm going to offer a simple exercise, and I talk about this often because it's that important. I want you to write a list of people that you need to forgive. And you're probably wondering, what's that got to do with my money? It got everything to do with your money. You need to release that because you need to make space energetically, especially in your life, in your heart, to open that up. And so make a list of people, whether they're still alive or deceased, and make a list of people that you need to forgive and write a letter You don't have to send it to them. Write a letter and just say, I thank you for teaching me whatever it is. I love you. I forgive you. That's also part of the Ho'oponopono prayer, and
In the
that's
book,
right.
you
Yeah, and I
mentioned it
wrote that in the book.
in the book.
So
Yes.
in the chapter of forgiveness, and so forgiveness is super important. So go through that exercise of thinking of people that you need to forgive so that you can release that. Because if you don't, it's just like congested energy that's stuck inside you. And then also put your name down on that piece of paper, because many of us are still beating ourselves up and, just being so harsh on ourselves. So we need to also forgive ourselves for the mistakes we made, for allowing somebody to borrow money that never paid us back, for making stupid purchases. Forgive yourself for all the mistakes as well. And so I would say start there. Learn how to forgive others and yourself so that you can clear that within your heart and create the space for the blessings to come in.
Beautiful. And put their name on a list and write them a short letter. Whether it's on a notepad or email, or you write it down, or you type things. Just do that one simple exercise. So Jen, thank you so much for being here today. Again, congratulations for your book. We have some cookies here that obviously the kids have eaten most of the cookies, but sending you some virtual cookies. So this is like their
Yeah.
favorite cookie. Obviously it ran out so fast, but
Okay, good.
sending you some cookies in the celebration and gratitude of the hard work, the trust that you have in me, in the team, and the whole process of things, and then just for being a player and being a pro versus like a fan kind of thing. So Jen, congratulations, and
Thank
everybody
you.
grab a copy of the Creative Code. Just go to genmoneycoach.com or scan the QR code here for the book and grab a copy of the Kindle version. And we would also love it if you can leave a review. That would really help. I don't know, Jen, but when you get a review, when I get a review, I get so happy and excited. So
Oh, yeah.
drop a little happiness to Jen with a review, and it's also going to help inspire other people to make decisions for themselves, good decisions for themselves. All right, Jen, thank you so much. And, all the best in your book. And I hope that you get some cookies as well, or chocolates, or, fruits, anything to celebrate with.